What's up, Juggalos? Wickit Clown Reviews here. I'm going to be reviewing every single EP and LP released by Psychopathic Records in chronological order. And up next is Mutilation Mixed, Greatest Hits That Never Were Hits. Mutilation Mix is kind of a mixtape compilation by ICP of their quote-unquote greatest hits, but, they say it up front. They never actually were hits. And this was kind of just meant as a fun little album to bridge the gap between Tunnel of Love and Great Milenko. Just trying to get more hype up for the Great Milenko's release. First I'm going to go through and kind of give my thoughts on the compilation as a whole and what tracks are on it. And then afterwards, I'm going to compare all of the different CD pressings. So first of all, with Mutilation Mix, it's great. They don't actually tell you what's on it. Just says the stiffs and the flops, over 75 minutes of serial killing, mass murderer music, and 2 new tracks. So, they kind of keep it a secret. And this one's always fun to bump because I've never really memorized the track list, and I don't really listen to it that often. So it's always a nice little surprise. Sometimes when you know an album too well, the songs don't hit as hard because you see them coming, and this can be a fun way to just mix things up and dive into ICP's old school stuff. So the kind of gimmick of the album, I guess, or I don't know what you would call it, but it's filled with periodic song requests from people. I'm guessing because some of them are from fans, some of them are from people they know. And my assumption is that back in the day on one of their newsletters, they included a hotline that you could call to request a song and possibly get on the album. This is just an assumption because I don't know how else they would get out their number for people to call. But it starts off right off the bat with a request from Nate the Mac. Violent J does the opening, and it's like an answering machine. And Nate the Mac says that Cemetery Girl is their only potential hit because, these fuckers never had a greatest hit. So I'm going to list the tracks that are on this album, but I'm not actually going to deep dive because I've talked about every single track almost, except the 2 new ones. So I'm just going to say what they are and then talk about the phone skits. But kicks off with Cemetery Girl, then leans into Hey Vato, then Wagon Wagon, and then we get our second request, who's calling for Psychopathic, and I'm pretty sure this is a fan. It doesn't sound like anybody they know. And then after Psychopathic, it is Southwest Strangler, Never Had It Made, the Chicken Huntin' Slaughterhouse mix, I Stuck Her With My Wang, which is probably the most surprising inclusion here because I really feel like this is one of their weaker tracks from this era. But, fuck it. The Loons, Redneck Ho. Then you get your third request, which is I'm Coming Home. And this one, I'm not sure who it is. If you know, let me down in the comments. It sounds like it's a fan, but also the way they talk seems like it's a little more personal. So it might be someone they know. And at this point, there's the first break in the album. The album has had a really good momentum, and it does a good job of mixing the tracks together. And it's kind of presented like one of their live shows. If you've seen them live, you know that they don't play full tracks. They try to maximize as many songs as they can, and so they'll cut a chorus or cut a verse or something like that. And they're doing that throughout Mutilation Mix. And the reason that the album has a break here is because if you listen to it on cassette, this is where you would flip the cassette over. And each side is actually called side A, the stiffs, side B, the flops. And then Super Balls kicks off the second half, which is a really fun way to lean into it. Then it goes into the Stalker, and then Wizard of the Ghetto, or Wizard of the Hood. Then Schizophrenic. 3 Rings, and then the fourth request, guy named Steve, again sounds like a fan. He requests Murder Go Round, and the funniest part is after he's done requesting, he just is hacking up along. It's pretty hilarious. And then after Murder Go Round, they get right into the fifth request, which is Brad Daddy X and Lou Dog from the Humble Gods calling in to request Southwest song. And this part always gets me hyped because, you know, if you know your history, you know that Daddy X and Lou Dog later went on to do the Cottonmouth Kings. And this is just a great early throwback to those days when they were all doing stuff together. And man, I really miss KMK a lot. So yeah, they do Southwest Song, then Fuck Off, and then Dead Body Man, Cotton Candy, and then 17 Dead. And then we get our final phone call of the, well, not really, there's a secret phone call at the end, but the final phone call amongst the mixtape. It's someone called Two Dog on the East Coast, and they're trying to rap. And like at first I was like, oh, this must be a fan call too. But then as I listened, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is fucking Jump Steady. And by the end of it, he doesn't even request a song. So like, man, I'm 99% sure this is Jump Steady just fucking around. If it's not, let me know, but I'm pretty certain. And then you get the two new tracks, which the first one is The Nedden Game, which would later appear on Great Malenko, and I think at this point they were intending it to be on Malenko. This version, the unique thing about Mutilation Mix is it has the original version of Nedden Game. Lyrics are slightly different. They're a little more, like Shaggy's verse especially is a little more violent. And I actually think it's, you know, a case where I guess the quote-unquote censored version is actually a little better, not because of like the themes or anything, but just because some of the lines they replace the old ones with are funnier. Like slap you in the face is replaced with stick my nuts in your face. And then, you know, obviously instead of freaking with your nuts, Violent J goes slap her in the face. And yeah, the freaking with the nuts thing, it's way funnier and goofier. And overall too, the rhymes, you know, they redid them. Even the lines that aren't even changed, it's a different recording. And yeah, overall just not as strong of lyrics, slightly weaker recording, and they definitely improved this for the final version. But it's always fun to revisit the original mix. And then the final new track is House of Wonders, which I think at the time they were intending for Malenko, but it later got cut, obviously. And, you know, I think it's a wise choice. It's a fun song, but it's a little too close to House of Horrors. And if you're only going to have one on Malenko, then you would want it to be, you know, House of Horrors is the better track. And then also House of Wonders, it's thematically a little bit of a repeat of Three Rings. And so overall, yeah, House of Horrors was the better call, but House of Wonders is still a fun deep cut. I can just definitely understand why they decided to cut it. So yeah, if you're a nerd like me and you're interested in the kind of data spread on what albums were represented, I'll go through it right now. Dog Beats got one track, which I'm going to count Wizard of the Ghetto, just because it's everywhere says Wizard of the Ghetto and not Wizard of the Hood, which, you know, I'm just gonna give one for Dog Beats just because I love Dog Beats. Carnival of Carnage got 3, unless you want to count Wizard of the Hood, then it's 4, but I don't know. Beverly Kills got 2, Ringmaster got 4, Terror Wheel got 2, Fuck Off got 2. The Xmas EP is the only ICP album up to this point that is not represented on this compilation. Forgotten Freshness got 1, Riddlebox got 5, which makes sense. It was their magnum opus at this point, and Tunnel of Love got 2. So you know, overall, Mutilation Mix, it's a blast. It's a classic little, you know, appetizer until freaking Great Malenko. So let's take a look at the booklet here. I love the splatter blood on the CD. And the booklet here, it's really fun. It's got like almost like a game board path to their career. It's a cool picture. I'm pretty sure that's Shaggy. It looks like Shaggy. And leans through. I love this picture of Jay with that ridiculous wig on. Wicked paint. Yeah, it's great. And then they're kind of teasing, Great Malenko's coming, y'all. Great Milenko, the 4th Joker's card, summer 97. And this is kind of fun. It's like the history of ICP, or is it? And this is kind of just like a timeline of everything ICP did up to this point, which is really fun to read through. There's a lot of great info. Some of the info on here is total bullshit. You know, people forget what trolls ICP are, and sometimes they're just fucking around and like to fuck with people. And you know, it's up to you to piece together what's real and what's fantasy. But yeah, this is really great. I think my favorite thing here is right here. Shaggy 2 finishes Crash Bandicoot on the Sony PlayStation, but nobody cares. Shaggy, I care. I hope you got all the gems. Hope you unlocked those 2 secret levels with the keys. And yeah, I hope you got to enjoy the sequels, man, because I fucking love Crash Bandicoot. Anyways, and then here's kind of the credits dedicated to the butterfly. And yeah. So that's basically the booklet for Tunnel of Love. Tunnel of Love. I was looking at Tunnel of Love. Mutilation Mix. So this is a first pressing. There's a real easy way to tell the first pressings on this one, because they say PSY 1016. 1016, which is part of the barcode number. And here it is on the back too, 1016. And this is the only version that has 1016. And I'm pretty sure this is the first time Insane Clown Posse's website was advertised on the back, but you still get the 3313 and their fax number. And yeah, the days of recognizing albums based on the phone number are about to end, because yeah, I don't think there are any more after this, but I could be wrong. And yeah, so second pressing here. Cover looks pretty similar. Pretty good job replicating the cover. I'd say maybe it pops a little more. You could see here the red is popping out. Purples are a little deeper. So maybe this cover, it looks a little better. And then the number was changed, 4011. And then is the logo different as well? No, logo's the same. But yeah, the number changed on here. And then it says call the Psychopathic Records hotline, but it does not have the number anymore, 3313 to call. Then distributed by Red Music Distribution, who did, you know, most of their re-releases. And then CD, exactly the same, different disc matrix underneath, you know, both say Didix. They have different numbers, and the booklet's pretty much the same. You can see here again, 4011. This is how to tell if your booklet matches the CD version you have. And then, you know, the spines basically the same, except those 2 numbers are different. Then we got the third pressing. Again, pretty similar to the second pressing. Red Music Distribution again. Hotline, is the hotline number exactly the same? Yep, looks like the hotline number has not changed at all. Barcode's the same. Everything's the same. The only way to tell the difference between the 2 versions of Mutilation Mix are this one has disc makers on the bottom, PSY 4011, where the other version has Didix on the bottom. That is the only way to tell the difference between those 2 pressings, and most people don't give a shit. You know, only nerds like me are gonna buy 2 fucking CDs because the matrix is different. Then we have the 4th pressing. This is the rarest version of Mutilation Mix. Annoyingly, it took me forever to fucking find a copy. And the dude who I bought it from, I paid way too much for this. Dude would not go under $50, and it was so annoying. And then I was disappointed once it finally arrived, because, like, man, the cover, it just looks like shit in comparison. You could see, like, the green is it's a little more like vomity. Like all the blues are lost, and like look how like washed out this looks. And you know, and just like the detail on their face too, like you could see it right there. It's just yeah, it looks like shit. And then on the back, yeah, it's just night and day to me. This almost looks like a bootleg version. And you know, you got Red Music, all the same shit, Psychopathic Records Hotline. But what's different? What's really different? Is it just a shitty fucking case? No. The disc does not have any breaks in between. And it looks, see, you can see the differences there. And yeah, you know, that's it. And again, booklet, if you open it, you know, once again, it just looks like shit in comparison. I mean, it feels good. You can tell it's a real print, but it's a cheap print for sure. And you know, you got the disc matrix on the bottom. It's a little different. But yeah, this was the last version that was ever released, and you know, the reason it's the rarest is just simply because they printed less of them. They printed way more of these copies. And yeah, it's really fucking tricky to find, but I finally got one. The only one I'm missing is, as always, the Australian version. You know, for most of my collection, the Australian version is the only one I'm missing. And I always forget to mention it, and someone brought it up in my Ringmaster video, so I'm trying to acknowledge that the Australian version exists. The one on Shock Records. And, you know, for me, like, Australian pressings are something... you know, my rule with international pressings is I only get it if like there's a significant difference to the cover. If it's the same thing, just it says Shock Records, it's not a priority for me. And you know, I think one day when my collection is complete as is, like within my parameters, and I have nothing else to buy, then I'll probably get into buying those Australian versions. But yeah, they're always so fucking expensive too. Oh yeah, the spine, you can see that the top shitty version looks shittier compared to the rest of them. And yeah, it has perforated edges as well, instead of just like the clean card back. Alright, but yeah, that is a Mutilation mix, Juggalos. Let me know what you think down below of the album. Up next is the Great Malenko Hollywood Records version. I made a decision to split my Great Malenko review in two because I realized that the Hollywood and the Island version are technically two different releases. They had two different release dates. It was two different labels. The track lists are different, and it's not just bonus tracks. It's like the tracks are throughout the album. And, you know, I've never actually listened to the Hollywood version, so I kind of want to listen to it and really compare. And not to mention, but I literally have like over 30 fucking Malenko CDs. There's no way I can fit them all in one video. So splitting them up, where I go over all my Hollywood copies and then I go over all my Island copies, it just makes the most sense to me. So yeah, next week will be the Hollywood Records version of Great Malenko. All right, Juggalos, see you then. Whoop whoop.